Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Let me check. Is the audio fine or not, guys and girls? If you can confirm, it will be helpful for me. Let me just check on the YouTube, because then I'll be able to get a clarity on the issue. Okay, so audio is fine. Give me 1 second, please. Mic is muted. Okay, so let's get started. We'll be looking at the CAT 2018 paper, slot 1. We'll look at the quant section and we'll see how it should have been attempted. Which are the questions which are worth attempting and which are the ones which are not. Okay. So let me just share my screen with you first. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me share my screen. Share screen. I'll share my full screen so that you get to, so there's no confusion as such. Okay. Okay, guys and girls, just confirm if it is visible, the PPT. Okay, so we are looking at the CAT. Yes, the PPT is visible. That's fine. Thank you very much. Okay. 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 Okay, so let's get started with the session. Okay. And what's the agenda of the session? As I said, the agenda is very simple. We'll look at this paper and learn to identify which question you should attempt or which are the questions you should leave. So it is about right questions to attempt or the right questions to leave. One of the basic thing which you need to remember for CAT is, when I look at CAT papers from 1995 till 2024, 23 rather. If you look at any of these CAT papers, by and large, you should remember that 50% is a good score. Okay, 50% is a very good score. Not percentile, I'm saying 50 percentage marks. All, let's say 60% is an outstanding score. Okay, that's the basic thing you need to remember. Now, which means if you look at CAT 24, 22 questions of quant. Okay, if 22 questions in quant, 50% would mean 11 questions. 60% would mean 13 questions. And you please look at CAT papers of the last 3-4 years. CAT 21 onwards, we have had 22 questions. You'll find if you have a 50 or 60% score, you're 60%, you're by and large 99.5 percentile plus. And the same thing would be true for the earlier year papers also, by and large. So when I'm looking at CAT 2018, this paper had 34 questions in quant, 34 questions in quant. Okay. And what would be 50%? 17 questions. And what would be 60%? Let's say about 20 to 21 questions. So this is the range you are looking at. Now, which effectively means you can afford to leave half the questions. So any question which you find difficult, any question which you find confusing, any question that you don't understand, please leave it immediately. You don't have to worry about that. Shit, I don't know this question. No, don't worry about it. Just leave it and move on. Aage chalne ki aadat dalo. The more you get stuck with difficult or confusing questions, the more difficult it is going to be for you to do well in this paper. So please remember, this paper is not saying attempt 22 out of 22 questions or 34 out of 34 in CAT 18. It was saying do about 18 questions, 17 questions, 20 questions out of 34 and you are good to go. So that's the basic understanding which I expect from all of you. Okay. So when I attempt the paper, as we discussed earlier in the earlier session for the DILR, okay, I attempt the paper in 2 or 3 rounds. Now, what are round 1 questions? Round 1 questions are the ones which I think are easy, which are easy for me, okay, which I know how to solve. Okay, I can solve without thinking. So these are questions which I know exactly what is to be done. And typically these are questions which I can do in less than 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, these are my round 1 questions. These are the questions which are the easiest ones. I want to attempt each one of those questions, whether they are the first question or the last few questions. I don't want to miss on any one of them. Now there are round 2 questions. What are round 2 questions which are called moderate level of difficulty or medium level of difficulty? Okay, moderate level of difficulty. Okay, these are the ones which are time consuming, which means will take maybe about 3 to 5 minutes to solve. These are the questions, okay, which I need to think. I am not sure. Okay, I need to think. These are questions which I am not sure of how to solve, but I have a broad idea. Okay, not sure, but have an idea. Now, these are the questions which are slightly more difficult, take time. So, why should I do the difficult question which take time? Also, these are questions which I'm not 100% sure how to go about, which means I need to think. If I have to think, I may or may not be able to get the right logic, and hence it could be a straightforward waste of time. So, don't do these questions. Come back to these questions. You finish off round 1 question, these easy questions. Then, if you have time, you can come to look at these questions, round 2 questions. Then, what are called the round 3 questions? They are called well left. These are the questions which I know I can't solve. I don't, these are, for example, if there's a topic or a question type that I'm absolutely uncomfortable with, that's a round 3 or well left question for me. These are questions which are not to be solved. These are questions which are very difficult for me, which I don't understand. And even if I understand, they will take 5 to 7 months for me to solve. I don't want to attempt any of these questions. So for me, this is the paper. Round 1 question is the only thing I want to attempt. If I have time, then I look at round 2 questions also. Otherwise, I'm not bothered about them. So when I'm going through this paper, I'll keep telling you which is a round 1 question for me, which is a round 2 question for me, and which question I will not attend and for what reason. Okay. Okay. Good to see, Tushar. You have some good opinion about me. Thank you. Okay. So let's continue. We can leave Tushar and others like him, but let's continue. Okay. So this is what I want you to understand. Excuse me. Okay. Now let's go through the paper. CAT 2018 Slot-1 paper. What I'll do is I'll go through all the questions first and give my logic as to which question has to be attempted and which is not to be attempted. Okay. And after that, if we have time, I'll look at a few questions and give you some jugaad methods also to solve those questions. Okay. Okay. First question. If fx plus 2 is equal to fx plus 1 for all positive integers x, and f11 is equal to 91, while f15 is 617, then what is f10 equal to? What kind of question is it? It is giving me a formula for finding the value of fx, and it is asking me to find the value of f10. Do I have sufficient information? I know that f15 is given to me, f91, f11 is given to me. I need to find f10, sorry. And this formula tells me fx plus 2 equal to fx plus x plus 1. So if I start with f15, this will be equal to f14 plus f13. To get f14, what will I need? f13 plus f12. Similarly, for f13, I'll need f12 plus f11. And what is f13? It is same. And f11 will be f12 will be f11 plus f10. So I can convert everything to f11 plus f10, and everything is given out here. So f15 is given, f10 is what I have to find. This is round 1 question. Now these are questions for which no prior knowledge is required. Okay, please understand, these are questions. These are for which no prior knowledge is required. These are questions on which you just keep following the process. This is a process-oriented question. Write down F14, F13, convert F13 into F14 into 13 plus 12. Okay. Then you find convert 13 to 12 plus 10, 11, and similarly the others. So this is a round one question, because if you just follow the process, you will get the answer. Okay. So round one question for me. Question 2. Point P lies between points A and B such that the length of BP is thrice that of AP. Car 1 starts from A, moves towards B. When you read this tells you this is a question of time speed distance. Okay. Car 1 starts from A, moves towards B. Simultaneously, car 2 starts from B and moves towards A. Car 2 reaches P 1 hour after car 1 reaches P. If the speed of car 2 is half of that of car 1, then the time in minutes taken by car 1 to reaching from P to A. Okay. Now, what do you need to do? You can just assume a value. After all, what is given to us is point P lies between points A and B. So if I have AB, okay, such that the length of BP is thrice the length of AP. So if P is here, BP is 3x and AP is x. Okay. Now I can always take this as 30 and 10. So why do I take 30 and 10? Because when I take numbers, my calculations become easier. Okay. So in any case, it is telling me that these terms, these are distance. What else is given? The ratio of speed. Speed of car 1 to speed of car 2 is given. It is telling me speed of car 2 is half of that of, okay, or speed of car 1 is double. So what do I need? I need to find the time taken by A to cover this distance of 40 kilometers. So, and also I have given some data of time. So if I can just apply speed is equal to distance upon time, if you are comfortable with the topic of time, speed, distance, then this should be a question which you can do immediately. Another round one question. Disha, when you say quant, this was an easy paper. 34 questions to be done in about an hour. If I remember correctly, 99 percentile was something around 53 marks, but I could be wrong. I'll check it. Okay. The word parallelogram tells you it is a mensuration or geometry question. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. Vaibhav says, sir, if I'm down to last two options, should I make a calculated guess or leave the question? My accuracy in these questions is around 70 to 80%. Tushar, Vaibhav, unless you are short of time, my suggestion would be solve it. But if you are short of time, then take a chance and move on, because your accuracy is 70 to 80%. That means 3 out of 4 times you'll get it right. So you can take a chance. Okay, back to this question. In parallelogram ABCD, an area of 72 square centimeter, the sides CD and AD have lengths of 9 and 16 respectively. Let P be a point on CD such that AP is perpendicular to CD. Then the area in square centimeters of triangle APD. Now, with regard to geometry, not my strong area, and many times I don't understand the question till I make the figure also. Okay. Okay. So all I will do is first I'll draw the figure and then decide whether it is something I want to do or not. Okay. So it is telling me ABCD, one side is 9 centimeters, another side is 16 centimeters, and this is a parallelogram. Okay. So if I draw a parallelogram, okay, 16 centimeters is AD is 16 centimeters. So let me say this is AD 16. This is BC. So ABCD, CD is equal to 9 centimeters. This is a figure which is given to us. Now what does it say? P be a point on CD such that AP is perpendicular to CD. So AP has to be perpendicular to CD. Okay. So if I have to draw a line which is perpendicular to CD, it will be something like this. This is 90 degrees and this point is P. Okay. So this is 16. Let me write it here. Okay. Now, What do we need to find? We need to find the area of triangle APD, this triangle which has been created. Now this is the time when you need to take a call whether you understand what is to be done or not. Okay. To me, this will still be a question which I want to attempt. I'll tell you why. Let me just correct the figure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now this is the 90 degrees. So I will draw. Why do I want to attempt this question? Because when I look at this question, there is a right triangle. As far as the right triangle is concerned, a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the ratio of sides is 1 is to root 3 is to 2. Hypotenuse will be a multiple of 2, 2x. If the side opposite the smallest angle, which is 30-degree angle, is x or 1, the side opposite 60-degree angle will be root 3, and the side opposite the 90-degree or the hypotenuse will be twice of. So whenever in that right triangle you find this ratio is 2 is to 1, the smallest side to the biggest side is the ratio of the 1 is to 2, or the hypotenuse is double of one of the sides, is the 30, 60, 90 right triangle. Okay. So what do we need to do? We have this side as 16. We need to find this. If I find AP, I can find PD also, because why? Because AP square plus PD square will be equal to 16 square. This is a right angle triangle. So the question effectively is, do I know how to find AP? If the answer is yes, I know how to find AP, then it's a round one question. If you say no, I don't know how to find the AP, then you should leave the question. Okay. Okay, so that's the decision point for you. And if you don't know how to find AP, don't waste your time, just move on to the next question. If you know how to find AP, it should not be a problem. Okay. Now, the question gives us the area of this triangle as 72. And what is area of a triangle? Sorry, not area of triangle, area of parallelogram to be 72. Area is nothing but base into height. It will be nothing but AB into AP. If I look at this, AB into AP into the height. So if you know this, it's a question you should do. So AB into AP is equal to 72. AB is nothing but 9, so AP should be 8. So if you have 8, this is 8, this is 16, this will be 8 root 3. Remember this particular funda. But the important thing was here to understand, do I know how to find AP? If I know how to find AP, it's a round one question. If I don't know how to find AP, you should leave this question and move on to the next one. Okay. Next question. Two types of tea, A and B, are mixed together and sold at 40 rupees per kg. Question of mixtures. So when you are reading the question, right at the very beginning, you will be able to make out which topic or which question type it belongs to. If profit is 10%, if A and B are mixed in the ratio of 3 and 2, and 5% if this is in the ratio of 2 is to 3. The cost price per kg of A and B in what ratio? Okay. Round one question. Why? Because the weights are given, selling price is given, and the profit percentage is given, so I can find the cost price also. So if I say cost price of A is A rupees per kg and cost price of B is B rupees a kg, then what will be the cost price of 3 kgs of A and 2 kgs of B? It will be 3A plus 2B. What will this be equal to? If the selling price is 40 rupees and the profit is 10%, that will be 40 upon 1.1. All which implies that just cross multiply 3.3A plus 2.2B is equal to 40. Same thing you can do for the other one also. So if you can, the selling price is given, profit percentage is given, the ratio of quantity is given, you can always form two equations. Now what will we get? Similarly, we'll get another equation from this. Two equations in two variables, you can find the ratio of A to B. Round one question. This is a question which I believe should be a round one question for everyone. Unlike the previous question where there was an issue whether you know how to get this value of AP or not, this question, there's no issue. There's a kind of question you would have prepared done in your preparation. All standard study material would have this kind of a question. Hence, this is a question which you should definitely be attempting. Okay. Okay. Next question. Actually, this is a paper. This paper, CAT 2018 Slot-1 paper, was my paper. And this is a question which I did by jugaad. I'll talk about it also. Okay, a trader sells 10 liters of a mixture of paints A and B, where the amount of B in the mixture does not exceed that of A. What does that mean? If there's 10 liters of mixture A and B has to be less than equal to A, what does that mean? That means B has to be less than equal to 5, or A will be greater than equal to 5. Isn't it? Because A plus B has to be equal to 10. So B does not exceed that, or does not exceed the quantity of A. That means B will be maximum of 50% or 5 liters. Okay. Okay. The cost of paint per liter is rupees 8 more than that of paint B. If the trader sells the entire mixture for 264 with a profit of 10%, what is the highest possible cost of B in rupees per liter? Okay. Again, this is a mixtures question along with profit loss discount. If the selling price of 10 liters is rupees 264, does that not mean, and there's a profit of 10%, does that not mean that cost price will be equal to 264 upon 1.1, which is 240? Or that means my CP per liter will be equal to 24 rupees because this is 10 liters. Okay. So I can calculate the basic cost price, and hence I can form an equation and solve it. Hence it is a round 1 question. Because the selling price for 10 liters is given to me, I can find selling price per liter and cost price per liter. Okay. And hence I can form an equation and solve the question. But now let me share the jugaad which I use for this question. Okay. Now, what does the question say? Highest possible cost of paint B is what I need to find. Okay. Now, this is the cost of paint B. If this is the cost of paint B, what will be the cost of paint A? There was the data given out here. Cost of A per liter is 8 more than that of paint B. That means if B is 16 rupees a liter, A should be 24 rupees a liter. If B is 20 rupees a liter, A should be 28 rupees a liter. If B is 22 rupees a liter, A should be 30, and 26 means 34 rupees a liter, right? Now, what is the average price? It is 24 rupees per liter. Now, please tell me, can the average price be 24 if the prices are 16 and 24? No. Average will be always between the two numbers. Similarly, choice 4, wrong choice. Right? These are wrong choice. Okay. What are you left with? Choice 2 and 3. Check by allegation. Shashwat, are you saying 26 is the answer or 26 is the wrong option? You have just written 26. Now what will I do? I'll check by allegation. Let me check because the question is saying highest possible cost. Between 20 and 22, higher cost is 22. So let me check. If B is 22 rupees a liter and A is 30 rupees a liter and the average price is 24 rupees a liter, what will be the ratio of quantity? It will be 30 minus 24, 6, 22, or 3:1. What does that mean? This implies quantity of B is greater than quantity of A, but that is not possible because the question says B cannot exceed that of A. Quantity of B has to be less than that of, or less than equal to. That means this is wrong choice and this is the correct answer. Okay. So this was a jugaad I used without forming equation because this was a question where the choices were very convenient. But even if you don't look at the choices, you want to form an equation, perfectly fine. Look at the boundary condition, and what is the boundary condition? Boundary condition will be quantity of B should be equal to quantity of A equal to 5 liters. Yeah, Shashwat, that's fine. 20 is the answer. Perfectly fine. If we had checked 20, what would have happened? Let me just check for 20 also. 20 and 8, 28. If we check 20, what does it mean? If price of B is 20 rupees a liter, price of A is 28 rupees a liter, and the average price is 24 rupees a liter, what does that mean? Ratio is 4 is to 4 or 1 is to 1. That means in 10 liters of mixture, I should get 5 liters of B and 5 liters of A, which is the boundary condition. So that's the correct answer. Okay, so you could have done either way. But the most important thing which I want you to understand is you should have said 16 and 26 cannot be the answer because the average is 24. 16 means 16 and 24 will not give me an average of 24. 26 and 34 will also not give me an average of 24. That means the answer will be either choice 2 and 3. This is something you should have been able to pick up. Okay. Next question. Each of 74 students in the class studies at least one of the 3 subjects, H, E, and P. Okay. What is this telling you? Venn diagram. Okay. So there's definitely a data set question of Venn diagram. 10 students study all 3 subjects, while 20 study H and E but not P. Every student who studies P also studies H or E or both. If the number of students studying H equals to studying E, what is the number of students studying H? Okay. Now, first question, what is your comfort level with Venn diagrams? If you're absolutely uncomfortable, maybe this is not a good question for you to do now. Okay. Mehul, I hope the question is clear to you, the previous one. Okay, Mehul, if we do 22 and 30, we can get an average of 24. But what this means is, this is going to be 6, this is 2. This means quantity of B is greater than quantity of A. Hence, this is a wrong answer. Okay. Okay, because as per the question, amount of B has to be less than equal to amount of A. So this is contradicting the basic condition. Hence, 22 cannot be the answer. Okay. Okay, back to this question. So if you tell yourself that if you are someone who's very clear that मेरे को नहीं आता है Venn diagram, फिर चिंता मत करो, आगे चल दो. But if you are somewhat comfortable with Venn diagram, then my suggestion we draw the figure and then decide whether you want to do the question or not. Okay, so let's draw the figure. Okay, you have 3 subjects, H, E, and P. Okay, there are a total of 74 students. 20 study H and 10 students study all 3 subjects. So 10 students study all 3 subjects. 20 students study H and E but not P. So 20 study H and E but not P. Every student who studies P also studies H or E or both. That means this will be 0. Every student who studies P has to be either with H or with E or both with H and E. Okay. Now, if the number of students studying H equals that of E, number of students studying H equal to E, what does that mean? If this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, what does that mean? A plus B plus 20. H is nothing but A plus B plus 30 and E is nothing but C plus D plus 30. They have to be equal. Okay. That means these two have to be equal to these two. So if I call this X only, what will be the value of this? So what do we have? What is the total number? So can I say this is X? These two are combined X. These two are combined X, so 2X plus 30 should be equal to 74. Why? Because only P is equal to 0. So 2X is equal to 74 minus 30 is 44. X is equal to 22. What is the question asking us? Number of students studying H, 20 plus 10, 30, and this will be equal to 22, so 52. Okay. Now, this is a round one question or the leave question. If you don't understand the topic, if you are confused when you are making the figure, leave the question and move on. Otherwise, this is a by and large a round one question. Okay. This kind of question, if you look at past papers of CAT, you'll find this multiple times. Okay. You'll find this question multiple times. Fx being minimum of 2x square and 52 minus 5x. This typically is round one question. Why? Because all you need to do is you will get minima when 2x square is equal to 52 minus 5x. So these two have to be equal for you to get the answer. Okay. So this is typically a round one question. Now, what is the jugaad out here? One thing is you could solve the equation. You could solve this quadratic. The quadratic equation is 2x square plus 5x minus 52 equal to 0. You can solve. But I did not solve the question. I said I have 2x square equal to 52 minus 5x. Let me check for various values of x. Okay. Because x cannot be more than 7 or 8. Or actually, if you look at what is 2x square, if x is equal to 5, this will become 2 into 25. So x has to be less than equal to 5. Okay. So I knew that the value of x is going to be small. So instead of solving the equation, I started checking for x. So if I put x equal to 3, what do I get? 52 minus 15 on the right hand side, which is equal to 37. And left hand side, I will not get the value because this is an odd number. So this 2x square will be an even number. But nevertheless, even if you want to check it, 9 into 2, 18. So not equal. Next, x equal to 4. X is 4, what do we get? 16 into 2, 32. Right hand side, 52 minus 20 equal to 32. Satisfies? That means x equal to 4. What are we looking for? Maximum possible value of fx. Maximum value of fx will be either 2x square 52 minus 5x. What is 2x square? 32. So, the jugaad in this question was to substitute values of x rather than solving the equation because x had to be a very small number. Okay. Question 8. Again, round 1 or round 2 or round 3 depending upon your comfort. This is one of those questions that can be done at any stage. Okay. Now, what is important in this question is to look at the question and then understand what are the pitfalls out here or what is that you need to look for. The question is this one. This is the equation which is given. What do we need to find? We need to find u plus 2v. We have a u minus 2v given, but here you have u and something else. So this is a kind of question, if you are comfortable algebra with transposing terms and solving them, it is a question we can do in round 1. On the contrary, if this is a kind of question which you get confused in, leave it for round 2 and come back to it later. Okay. So the trick in these questions typically to transpose this to the left hand side and to merge u square. If I take this to the left hand side, what does it become? Plus 4v into u plus v. Plus, this is what effectively equation. Now, one of the ground rules which I follow is I will not open the equation till I need to, but this one I will simplify. This is already a perfect square. Okay, there's already a perfect square. Okay, so let me not open it unnecessarily. Secondly, u square is positive. This is positive. So that means this can be 0 and this has to be 0. Because u square will always be positive. This will always be positive. That means this also has to be equal to 0. So you could solve it from here. Alternately, what you can do, what is this? U square plus 4v square plus 4uv. Okay. And what does this become? U plus 2v whole square. What does this mean? This term has to be 0, this term has to be 0. So u plus 2v should be equal to 0 and u minus 2v should be equal to 1 for this to be 0. Now please don't solve these equations. Hold on. What do we need to find? We need to find u plus 3v, but u plus 3v is nothing but u plus 2v plus v. And what is u plus 2v? U plus 2v is nothing but 0. So what you need to find is v. We need the value of v. Don't waste your time trying to find u. So what should you do? Subtract. What does that mean? 4v equal to minus 1 or v equal to minus 1 by 4. Correct answer, choice 1. So I've solved this question because this is a kind of question in which people waste a lot of time. But if you have come to this stage, you should tell yourself, I don't need to find u plus 2v. I need to find u plus 2v plus v, because u plus 2v is already given to me out here as 0. If u plus 2v is 0, my answer is going to be only v. And so when you're solving the equation, look for only v. Don't worry about u. Now, these are small things. If you start doing, you end up saving a lot of time, and which allows you to attempt a couple of extra questions in the paper. Okay. Logs. Round 1 question. Unless you have decided that logs is something which is beyond you. This is a round 1 question. We need to find the value of a plus b. Second equation has both a and b, while the first equation has only a. Please solve first equation, find the value of a, substitute in the second equation and get the value. Now, this is the elementary question of logs. Okay, let me follow the first one. I'll leave the second one for you. What does this mean? This will be equal to 2 cube. Okay, that means 5 plus log of a base c is equal to 2 cube or 8. That means this should be equal to 3. So what is log of a base c going to be? A is equal to log of a base c is equal to 3. So a is 3 to power 3, 27. We have found 27, put it here, solve. This is the kind of question. This is a kind of question which you should never leave. I'm assuming you have done the first 30 minutes of log as a chapter. If you have done that much, this is a question you should be able to solve. You cannot get an easier question than this in CAT as far as logs are concerned. Okay. Next question. In an examination, maximum possible score is n, while pass marks is 45% of n. A candidate obtains 36 marks but falls short of pass marks by 68%. If you are falling short of pass marks by 68%, what does that mean? You are getting 32% of pass marks. You are short of the pass marks by 68%. That means you are 32% of the pass marks. Round 1 question. Because it's a simple question of percentages. So what is 36 equal to? Pass, it is 32% of pass marks. And what is pass marks equal to? It is 42% of n. So 32% of 45% of n is equal to 36. So what is n equal to? 36 upon 32 into 45 into 100 for 32% into 100 for 45. If you can, and look at the numbers, so convenient, so easy to handle that you will not have to worry about the calculation also. 5 9s are 45, 5 2s are 5 20s are 100, 9 1s are 9, 9 4s are 4 1s are 4, 4 8s are 32. Okay, 4 2s are 8, 4 5s are 2 1s are 250, 15 to 5 250, n equal to 250. The correct answer will be choice 4. So simple question of percentages, write the equation, get the answer. Okay. Absolutely right, Mehul. Question 11. A tank is fitted with pipes, some filling it and the rest draining it. All filling pipes fill at the same rate. All draining pipes drain at the same rate. An empty tank gets completely filled in 6 hours when 6 filling and 5 draining pipes are on. This time becomes 60 hours when 5 filling and 6 draining pipes are on. In how many hours will the empty tank get filled and with when 1 draining and 2 filling pipes are given? Round 1. Question of time and work, a standard question. What would you do in these questions? Let us assume the rate of filling is x liters per hour and the draining pipes have a rate of emptying at the rate of y liters per hour. Okay. In the first instance, it is filled in 6 hours if 6 filling and 5 draining pipes on. Each filling pipe in 6 hours will give me 6x liters. Each draining pipe will empty. Okay, let me just rephrase what I just said. Okay, 6 filling pipes will put in 6x liters per hour. 5 draining pipes will empty 5x 5y liters per hour. So the what will come into the tank in 1 hour is 6x minus 5y. And when does the tank get filled up? In 6 hours. So into 6. This is the total amount of water which will be required to fill up the tank. What is the second condition? This becomes 60 hours when 5 filling and 6 draining pipes on. If there are 5 filling pipes, the water which will flow in will be 5x liters per hour. If there are 6 draining pipes, water which will flow out will be 6y liters per hour. And hence the tank will get filled up only in 60 hours. This is what it says. 6 ones are 6, 6 tens are 60. 6x minus 5y is equal to 50x minus 60y. So that means if I'll get 60 to the left hand side, 55y equal to 44x. So what is x upon y? It is 55 by 44 or 5 by 4. Now what should you do? Assume x to be equal to 5 liters per hour based on this and y equal to 4 liters per hour. And check for this. So what is the time capacity of the tank? Capacity of the tank is 6 into 6x minus 5y, where x is 5 and y is 4. In how many hours will it be filled up with 1 draining and 2 filling pipes? 1 draining pipe will means x. Sorry, 1 and 2 filling pipes means 2x and 1 draining means y. We solve. You'll get the number of hours. Again, I'm saying this is a standard question of time and work, and this is a question which you should definitely be attempting. Now look at these. We are question number 11. Forget about the rest of the stuff. Look at which are the questions which are definitely easy and which are standard questions. This kind of a question, there's nothing called knowledge required. This kind of question can be easily solved if you follow the process. This is again a question of time and work, and you would have done these kind of questions. This question, those of you not comfortable geometry may struggle with it and may have to leave it. That's fine. But the first 2 questions everyone should have attempted. Similarly, third question is a mixtures or ratios question. Everyone should again be able to solve. So out of 4 questions so far, we have only 1 question which was a question which you should be leaving. Another question of mixtures. This is a question, if you don't understand Venn diagram, it's perfectly fine to leave. Okay. Similarly, this is a question which is a standard question. This kind of question have come in CAT multiple times earlier. So if you have done all CAT papers, this question you will be able to solve, no doubt. Okay. If you are uncomfortable with algebra, if you can't handle variables, if you are very uncomfortable with equation, maybe you can afford to leave this question. Again, if logs is something you don't like at all, you don't understand, you should be leaving this question. But if you have done even 30 minutes of preparation of logs, this is a question which you should be able to solve. This is a question of percentages. The kind of question you have done in your preparation multiple times should be attempted, and similarly question there. So out of the first 11 questions, if you look at it closely, there are maybe 3 odd questions which are round 2 or round 3 questions. The balance 7, 8 questions are those which are by and large round 1 question and everyone should be attempting. Okay. While multiplying 3 real numbers, Ashok took one number as 73 instead of 37 As a result, the product went up by 720. So if the numbers were x, y, and the other number was 37, he instead of 37 took 73. So what was the original product? 37xy. But he calculated 73xy. And the product went up by 720. Okay, this part is easy. Or 36 xy is equal to 720 or xy is equal to 20. This is a place where you will some people get confused. Okay, minimum possible value of the sum of squares of the two numbers. What do I need to find? I need to find minimum value of x square plus y square. Now, this is a stage at which some of you will get confused and leave it, but my suggestion is this is a theta. Till this stage, I'm sure it is not a problem at all. After that, how to check for x square plus y square, some people will get confused, but this is a theta, so please write something. Don't leave it, there's no negative marking. Okay, the answer, if I have to take it, is going to be minimum will happen when x is equal to y equal to under root 20. So what is x square going to be? 20 and y square will be 20. Absolutely right, Somik. Okay. Now, many times people leave these questions. Why? Because they are reading the question very fast. And because they are reading the question very fast, they don't understand it, hence they leave the question. So my suggestion always is read at a pace at which you are comfortable. Your comfort in terms of reading is very, very important. Okay. If you are reading fast, you will get confused. Read at a pace at which you are comfortable. I would typically say round one question. Yes, but I am also sure many people will make the mistake at this stage itself. Log of 81 base 12 is equal to P, then what is this expression equal to? Now this is either a round one or a leave question. Those of you who are good in logs, you can probably look at it in round one. I will leave this question. Okay? Why? Because I think it is going to take time. I cannot use any jugaad by and large. I cannot apply any shortcut, and I think it will take me time. So for me, as far as I am concerned, I will want to leave this question. I am not interested in the question. Even if I look at the choices are nothing great. Choices are something which are telling me I'll need to solve. Yes, this is nothing but 2. This is nothing but 3. But these two choices are very, very vague. Okay. So if I had a calculator with scientific calculator, maybe I could have done it. Okay. So question I would leave. I don't think there's a question which is worth attempting or wasting time. Next question. Given an equilateral triangle with T1. Given an equilateral triangle T1. Just give me a second. With sides 24 centimeters. A second triangle T2 is formed by joining the midpoints of sides of T1. A third triangle T3 is formed by joining the midpoints of T2, and so on and so forth. What is the sum of infinite such triangles? Okay, draw the figure just to understand. One triangle, each side is 24. If I join these midpoints of the first triangle, what will be the side of each triangle be? 12. What will the area become? 1/4. Okay, so similarly, if I look at this triangle, side becomes now 6 and the area becomes, side becomes half, area becomes 1/4. Okay, so what is this? Is this not a geometric progression? It's a round one question. Why it's a geometric progression? What is the area of the first triangle? Area of an equilateral triangle is √3/4 into side square. The first triangle has an area of √3/4 into 24 square. So if I say this is equal to let's say x, what will be the area of the second triangle? Second triangle will be x/4. If the side has become half, the area will become 1/4. The third triangle will become 1/4 of x by 4, x by 16, and so on and so forth. So what are we going to do? We have to find the sum of these infinite series. What is the sum of infinite series going to be? First term upon 1 minus r. And what is common ratio? 1 by 4. Okay, so what is this? 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. So you do 4 by 3 into x. And what is x? This is equal to x. So what is my answer going to be? 4 by 3 into root 3 by 4 into 576, or 24 into 24. 3, 8 z 24, which is 192 root 3. As I said, round 1 question. Now, when is it that you should be leaving this question? Now, some of you will not be able to understand that this is a geometric progression. So, if you don't understand that this is a geometric progression, then you should probably be leaving the question. If you don't know how to calculate what is the area of an equilateral triangle, so if you don't know you can't identify the geometric progression, maybe you should leave the question. Okay. If you don't know what is the area of an equilateral triangle, you should leave the question. So if you don't have knowledge out here, you should leave the question. Otherwise, this is a round 1 question. 15th. John borrowed 2,10,000 from a bank at a rate of interest of 10% per annum, compounded annually. The loan was repaid in 2 installments. Again, ask yourself, do you know what are installments? Have you done question like this earlier? Do you know how to find installment? If yes, it's a round 1 question. If no, please leave and move on. Okay. The loan is paid in 2 equal installments, the first one after 1 year and the second one after another year. Okay. The first installment was interest of 1 year plus part of principal amount, while the second was rest of the principal amount plus due interest. Then what is each installment? If you have done installment, this is a round 1 question. Straightforward round 1 question. I typically apply the present value method. The loan amount should be equal to installment. It is 10% per annum upon 1.1 plus x upon 1.1 square. Okay. Now, while you can solve the equation, I did not solve the equation. For me, this is nothing but x upon 1.1 plus x upon 1.21. Now, this is an integer. I want this to be an integer, this to be an integer. So, my starting point one was that x should be a multiple of 1.21. X should be a multiple of 1.21. Let's check. If x is equal to 1.21, what do we get? What does this mean? 1.21 upon 1.21 is going to be, or rather 1,21,000. What will this become? 100. 110,000. Okay, let me just do it in a slightly different way. Yeah. I'll just give you some more thing. Okay. Can I write this as yes? Now it is not telling you clearly. Again, I'm repeating the same thing, that x should be a multiple of 1.21. Why am I saying that? Because this is an left hand side is an integer. So right hand side, these two also are likely to be integers only. So if x is equal to 1.21 or 1,21,000, what does this become? 1,21,000 upon 1.1 plus 1,21,000 upon 1.21. What does this become? This is 110,000 plus 100,000. This becomes equal to 2,10,000, satisfies. That means x is going to be equal to 1,21,000. The trick here was to understand that x has to be a multiple of 1.21. So 1,21,000 is what you should be starting off with. Absolutely right, Sovik and Ryan. Question 16. A wholesaler bought walnuts and peanuts. The price of walnut per kg being thrice that of peanut per kg. So walnut is 3 times the price of peanut per kg. Okay. He then sold 8 kg peanuts at a profit of 10% and 16 kg walnuts at a profit of 20% to a shopkeeper. However, the shopkeeper lost 5 kg of walnut and 3 kg of peanuts in transit. He then mixed the remaining nuts and sold the mixture at 166 rupees a kg, thereby making an overall profit of 25%. At what price in rupees per kg did the wholesaler buy walnuts? Okay. So what will you say? Round 1, round 2, round 3, and what can you do about this question? As far as I am concerned, I will say leave. Leave, not to attempt. This is a well left for me. Why? Now look at the question. Bought walnuts at peanuts, but the quantity is not given. The price of walnut being 3 times that of peanuts per kg. So the ratio of price is given, nothing else. Out of whatever quantity has been purchased of walnut and peanut, 8 kg is sold at 10% and 16 kg walnut at profit of 20%. Shopkeeper lost 5 kg of this and 3 kg of this. So there are too many complications out here. What this is telling me, that is the question which is likely to have high calculations. However, okay, and hence I decide to leave the question. However, there's something in the question and the choices should help you eliminate two choices. Look at this line. Price of walnut being thrice of peanut per kg. If peanut is X rupees a kg, then walnut would be 3x rupees a kg. What does that mean? That means my answer cannot be 86 or 98. These are not multiples of 3. These two are multiples of 3. My answer will be either 84 or 96. Which of the two will be the answer? I don't know. But I can eliminate choice. So now what will I say? I will say maybe there's a question I can consider in round 2 if I have time. But I should still be aware that the calculation will be high and maybe it is still something you need to be cautious about. Okay. So I did not do this question in the paper for the simple reason, as I said, high in terms of calculation, very little data given. I will waste a lot of time in calculation. So I would not want to attempt this question. Okay. Next question. Time speed distance train T. The moment you see train T leaves the station, obviously it has to be time speed and distance. Train T leaves station X for station Y at 3 p.m. Train is traveling by 3/4 of the speed of T, leaves Y for X at 4 p.m. The two trains pass each other at Z, where the distance between X and Z is 3/5 of between X and Y. How many hours does the train T take for its journey from X to Y? Typically, I will draw the figure to understand करना है कि नहीं. Okay, so we have X and Y. Train T leaves station X for Y at 3 p.m. Train is traveling at 4. So speed of train T, if I say as 4x kilometers per hour, then train, sorry, this is speed. Train S, okay, leaves at 4 p.m. and the speed will be 3x kilometers per hour. They pass each other at station Z. Okay, they pass each other at station Z, where the distance between X and Z, this is the distance between X and Z, is 3/5 the distance between Y and Z. What does this mean? If this distance is 5x, or let's say 5k, this should be 3k, and this should be hence 2k. Or what stops you from saying this distance is 30 kilometers and this distance is 20 kilometers? I will solve these two. Okay. Now it's a question which is doable. To reach station Z, I can also assume the speeds to be Not 4x and 3x, but 4 and 3. So my jugaad as far as this question is concerned is take this as 30 kilometers and take this as 20 kilometers. It is satisfying the condition. Then the ratio of speeds is 4:3. So I've taken the speed of train T as 4 kilometers per hour and train S as 3 kilometers per hour. Okay. So the idea being that we end up doing the question with numbers rather than variables. Okay. Okay. So now you can calculate how much time this train takes to come here and this train takes to come here. If you don't want to do 4 and 3a, then you can still continue with 4x and 3x, not a major issue. Okay, round 1 question. If you are uncomfortable, then round 2, but this is a question which you should definitely be attempting. Okay. Again, a log question. With a log question, what should you do? Ask yourself, samajh aaya ki nahi? Leave it. If you don't understand, if you know what is to be done, please do it. Okay. If you know what exactly needs to be done, you should go ahead and do it. Okay. Otherwise, you should leave the question without any problem. Okay. So it is either a round 1 question or a leave question. As far as I am concerned, I decided to leave the question. Looked like too much of effort to solve the question. Among 200 students, 105 likes pizza, 134 like burger. Number of students who like only burger can possibly be. Venn diagram. Round 1 question. Elementary question of Venn diagram. Please do it. Okay. Okay. Question 20. In a circle, two parallel chords on same side of the diameter have lengths of 4 and 6 centimeters. Distance between the chords is 1 centimeter. What is the radius of the circle? Okay. I'll draw the figure as usual and then decide what is to be done. Circle. There's the center of there's a diameter and there's the center of the circle. Two parallel chords on same side of the diameter have lengths of 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. So this is 4 centimeters. Let me say this is 6 centimeters. Okay. And this is 6 centimeters. Now, the question is, the distance between these two chords is 1 centimeters. So, this is 1. Okay. I can join it till the center also. What is the radius of the circle? Now, this is a question. It should be, if you have been able to pick out this is a question of right triangles, it's a round 1 question. If not, that means leave. So you have to take that call. समझ आ गया तो कर लो, नहीं समझ आया तो बिना सोचे समझे छोड़ दो, ज्यादा टेंशन मत लो. Okay. Now, let's look at this question. If this is 2, this is 3. Okay. There's the radius of the circle and there's also the radius of the circle. Okay. This is 2. Okay. If this is x, what will we say? Radius of the circle. You can start solving it then. Okay. This is x plus 1 whole square. X square is equal to r square plus 3 square. Sorry, r square equal to x square plus 3 square. If you look at this particular right triangle. And what will be this one? This is also radius. R square is equal to x plus 1 whole square plus 2 square. Or in other words, you can say x square plus 3 square is equal to x plus 1 whole square plus 2 square. You can solve it and get the answer. So the key thing out here is Are you able to make out this is a right triangle and hence we can apply Pythagoras? If yes, it's a round one question. If no, you should leave the question and move on. Don't make it an ego issue in the paper. Okay. Okay. That's x plus 1. Okay, next question. A cat aspirant appears for a certain number of tests. Average score increases by 1 if the first 10 tests are not considered. Decreases by 1 if the last 10 tests are not considered. Okay. If his average score for the first 10 tests and the last 10 tests are 20 and 30 respectively, then the total number of tests taken by him. Okay. Now, again, the issue is you know exactly what is to be done. If the answer is yes, you can go ahead with it. But most probably, we will need to think a little. This is a question which forces you to think a little. If I have to think, what does this mean? Round 2 or round 3? This is a round 2 question. I'll come back in round 2 in this question and then decide what is to be done. Effectively, just to understand the question, what it's saying? There are n tests you have taken, okay, has taken certain number of tests. His average score increases by 1 in the first 10 tests. These are the first 10 tests. Then you have n tests and you have the last 10 tests. So the total test you have taken is n plus 20. His average score increases by 1 if the first 10 tests are not considered. If you don't consider the first 10 tests, then the average for these is going to be, if the overall average is x, this is going to be x plus 1. It decreases by 1 if the last test tests are not considered. The average of these is going to be x minus 1. And the overall average is this. Okay. If the average for the first 10 tests, is 20 and the last 10 tests is 30. Now, if you are able to understand what is to be done, you can go ahead. But as I said, this is a question which requires you to think a little. If I need to think, it is a round 2 question. I am not wanting to think at all in round 1. I want to do only those questions in round 1 which I can solve mechanically without thinking. And hence this is a question which is a round 2 question because it is forcing me to think as to how to go about doing this question. I would rather do this question because without thinking, just by substituting values of x, I can do questions out here. The number of integers x such that this expression holds and 2x plus 2 is perfectly divisible either by 3 or 4. I'll do this question. Even if it takes me time, I will still do it because this is a question which I cannot go wrong. So this is a round 1 question because all I need to do is put different values of x and check. For example, what is this? 0.25 is nothing but 1 by 4 or 1 by 2 square or 2 to the power minus 2. Less than equal to 2 to the power x because this is nothing but 1 by 4 which is 1 by 2 square. Okay. Is less than 200, which is the biggest power of 2, which is less than 200, 2 to the power 7. So effectively 2 to the power minus 2 should be less than equal to 2 to the power x should be less than equal to 2 to the power 7. And what do we want? We want 2x plus 2 to be divisible by either 3 or 4. Okay. So what are the possible values of x? X equal to, that's 2 to the power x. I'm sorry, this should be 2 to the power x. 2x. If I remember correctly, this should have been 2 to the power x plus 2. Okay. Now what do you need to do? Put values of x. Now this is clearly telling you x can be minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Now clearly x cannot be minus 2 because if x is minus 2, this will become a fraction. If x is minus 1, this will again become a fraction. X is equal to 0. X is equal to 0, what will we get? 1 plus 2 equal to 3. This is a divisible by 3. Satisfies. If x is equal to 1, what do I get? 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Satisfies. If x is equal to 2, 4 plus 2, 6. It's a multiple of 3, satisfies. X equal to 3, 8 plus 2, 10. Not a multiple of 3 or 4. This is a question you should do. Because like question number 1, this question does not need you to think. All it wants you to do is put different values of x in the expression and get the answer from there. Round 1 question should definitely be attempted. How many numbers with 2 or more digits can be formed with these digits, so that every such number, each digit is used and okay, and at most once is used at most once, and the dates appear in ascending order. Now ask yourself, are you comfortable with permutation combination? Have you done this kind of a question earlier? If the answer to both is yes, please do it in round 1. If the answer to both, yes, I'm comfortable, I've done this kind of question, this is a round 1 question. But if you say, I have not done this kind of question, but I think I can solve, I need to think a bit, I'll get it, then it's round 2 question. If you say, samajh hi nahi aaya, then leave. So this is a question depending on the individual, can be a round 1 or a round 2 or a round or leave question. If you don't understand permutation combination, you're uncomfortable, just leave it and move on. If you are by and large okay, you need to think a little to get to the answer, then it's a round 2 question. If you have done this kind of question earlier, then it's a round 1 question. So please remember, the same question can be round 1 for one person, round 2 for another person, not to be attempted for someone else also. So you need to look at yourself and say, यार मेरे लिए क्या है ये? Okay? अपनी औकात में रह के काम करो is the ground rule that I follow. Let ABCD be a rectangle inscribed in a circle of radius 13 centimeters. Okay. Which of the following pairs can represent in centimeters possible length breadth of ABCD? Circle बनाते हैं. Okay. Inscribed in a circle of radius 13 centimeters. Okay. And we are inscribing a rectangle. Okay. If this is a rectangle, radius is 13 centimeters, then the diameter should be 26. Isn't it? Radius is 13, that means dia is equal to 26. Round 1 question. Why? What do I need to find? The length and breadth of the rectangle. That means this side and this side. This is a right angle triangle. Pythagorean triplet should help me. All I need to do is check the choices. Okay. So if this is 26, what should be this and what should be this? Length and breadth of the. So just substitute and check out which one gives you. After all, if this is x and this is y, what does it telling me? X square plus y square is equal to 26 square. Okay. Let's check the choices. 24 square. 24 square plus 12 square will be how much? 24 square is, even if you don't know that part, you can use the calculator, but 24 square is how much? 476 plus 12 square 144. This will end up in 0, while 26 square will have a unit digit of 6. 26 square is 676. Wrong choice. What about second choice, 24 and 10? 24 square plus 10 square will be equal to 24 square is 476. Sorry, 576. 24 square is 570. अरे गलत लिखा था. 576. 10 square is 100, which is equal to 676, which is nothing but 26 square. The correct answer. So this was a round 1 question. Draw the figure. You will clearly see this is a Pythagorean triplet that we are looking at, and all you need to do is apply Pythagoras theorem to get to the answer. Round 1 question should not be missed. Okay. Question 25. In an apartment complex, the number of people aged 51 years and above is 30. And there are at most 39 people whose ages are below 51. Age 51 and above is equal to 30. And age less than 51 is at most 30, is less than equal to 39 people. Okay. Average age of all people in the complex is 38. Average age is 38. What is the largest possible average age of the people whose age is below 51 years? Leave. I'll come back to it later. यार कभी फुर्सत होगी सोचेंगे ना. It is at best a round 2 question. Again, when I read the question, I think I will need to think as to how to go about it. It is not the question जिसको पढ़ के पता चल गया exactly क्या करना है. In this question, I could straight away say yes, मेरे को Pythagoras triplet लगाना है. यहाँ पे नहीं मालूम क्या करना है. And if I am not 100% sure of what to do, I will leave the question. If I have time in round 2, I'll come back and look at it because averages by and large I am able to handle. So that makes it at best a round 2 question, but this is not the question I will want to attempt initially in the paper. I'll be happy leaving this question. Cone. Okay. A right circular cone of height 12 feet stands on the base of a base which has a diameter of 8 feet. Tip of the cone is cut off with a plane which is parallel to the base and 9 feet from the base. With pi equal to 22 by 7, the volume in cubic foot of the remaining part of the cone. So first question is, do you know what is volume of cone equal to? If yes, you can proceed with the question. If no, leave the question. That's the basic rule that you need to follow, nothing beyond it. Okay. After all, I will proceed with the question only if I know how to calculate the volume. If I don't know how to calculate the value, why will I even bother about this question? Okay. So be clear about this aspect that the knowledge of volume of the cone is required. By the way, what is volume of the cone equal to? 1 by 3 pi r square h. Okay. So if you don't know this, you can then proceed and solve the question. If no, you should leave the question. The second part in the question, maybe you know this formula. Let's look at what is the second part. So this is a cone. It has a diameter of 8 feet. That means radius of 4 feet each and height of 12 feet. Okay. The tip of the cone is cut off with a plane which is parallel to the base and 9 feet from the base. So this is 3 feet. And this is 12 feet. Okay. So obviously that means this is going to be 9 feet. What is the volume of the remaining part of the cone? Okay. So if you know how to find the volume and you know how to find the height of the diameter of this one, of this top one, you can solve it. The other thing, okay, let me just tell you what did I do in this question. For me, look at this particular cone. This has a height of 12 feet and this chotu cone has a height of 3 feet. So what is the ratio of the height of the small cone to height of the big cone? And nothing but 3 by 12 or 1 by 4. So what does that mean? Volume of the small cone to volume of the big cone will be equal to 1 by 4 cube, 1 by 64. If the heights are in the ratio of 1:4, the volumes will be the ratio of 1:4 cube. Again, geometrically you could say that these two are similar triangles and hence all dimensions will be in the same ratio. Okay. So what is the volume of the remaining part of the cone? So if this entire cone has a volume of 64, this chotu cone is 1. What is the volume of this portion? 63. So my answer should be 63 by 64 into volume of the big cone. 1 by 3 into pi. What is the radius? Radius is, diameter is 8, radius will be 4. So into 4 square. And what is the height? Into 12. Okay. So 321. 4 into 4, 16. 16 4s are 24. 4 1s are 4. 4 3s are 12. So 21. Pi is nothing but 22 by 7 into 3. 22 into 9. 180 plus 18, 198. So the jugaad I used here was that volume of this remaining part of the cone will be nothing but 63 by 64 times the total cone. Okay. One of my favorite questions. When they work alone, B needs 25% more time to finish a job than A does. The two finish the job in 13 days in the following manner. A works alone till half the job is done. Then A and B work together for 4 days. Finally, B works alone to complete the remaining 5% of the job. In how many days can B alone complete the job? Round 1 question. A typical question of time and work. Okay, but look at the question carefully. B needs 25% more time than A does. If A does the work in X days, then B will do the time in 1.25 X days. Or if A does the work in 4x days, then B will do it in 5x days. What does that mean? B will finish the job. Answer should be a multiple of 5. Because it is 5x. If A does the work in 4x days, B will do it in 5x days. Look at the choices. Not possible, not possible, not possible. This should be the answer. Couple of other things. What is this? This is 4x. Why is this being given? Because instead of B, if you calculate for A, you should get an answer. Another hint. B works alone to complete the remaining 5% of the job. What is 5%? 1 by 20. So if B can finish the work in 20 days, in 1 day he will do 1 by 20 or 5% of the work. That is what it is saying. Round 1 straight away. Round 1 भी नहीं है, ये तो सवाल पढ़ते हुए आंसर निकल जाता है. So if you are careful about such things, you will be able to do it fast. Otherwise, nothing. Otherwise, you will form the equation and solve it. But whichever way you look at this, is round 1 question should definitely be attempted. Question 28. Distance from A to B is 60 kilometers per hour. Parth and Narayan start from A at the same time and move towards B. Parth takes 4 hours more than Narayan to reach B. Moreover, Parth reach midpoint of A and B 2 hours before Narayan reaches B. Speed of Parth in kilometers per hour. The data is given. We can just form the equation and solve. After all, what say A to B is 60 kilometers. P and N starts from A at the same time and move towards B. Parth takes 4 hours more than Narayan to reach B. Okay, so Parth and Narayan. How much time Parth takes to reach B? He takes 4 hours more than B. So, Parth takes more than 4 hours more than Narayan. So if Narayan finishes the work in 2t hours, Parth will do it in 2t plus 4 hours. Moreover, Parth reaches the midpoint of A and B. This is the midpoint of A and B, which is 30 kilometers. 2 hours before Narayan. Okay, Parth reaches here 2 hours before Narayan. So Narayan will reach here. Okay, Parth reaches the midpoint 2 hours before Narayan. Parth reaches the midpoint. He will do the midpoint in half of this, which is t plus 2 hours, before Narayan reaches B. So what is the difference between these two? 2 hours. So 2t minus t plus 2 has to be equal to 2 hours, is what the question is saying. You can solve the question. So round 1 question, just make the figure, and this is something which I would very strongly suggest. Question of geometry, question of time, speed, distance, please make the figure. Many times you'll get the answer the moment you make the figure. Okay, next question. Let x, y, z be 3 positive real numbers in geometric progression such that x is less than y is less than z. 5x, 16y and 12z are in arithmetic progression. Then the common ratio of geometric progression is how much? Okay. Now this is a question which many people will put for round 2 or not attempt at all. But for me, this is a round 1 question because I used a jugaad out here. Okay. X, y, z are 3 positive real numbers in geometric progression such that x is less than y and z. X is less than y is less than z. What does that mean? It's a geometric progression. So what will be the common ratio? Common ratio should be greater than 1, because x, y, z are in geometric progression. y is greater than x, z is greater than y. That means this has to be, common ratio has to be greater than 1. Now look at these choices. This is choice 2 is less than 1. Choice 4 is less than 1. The answer can either be choice 1 or choice 3. Now check the choices. Question says 5x, 16y, and 12z are in AP. Let's check. If R is equal to 5 by 2, 5 by 2 means 2.5. Or if you want to take 3 by 2, let's take R equal to 1.5. So let me take x equal to 1. If x is equal to 1, 5x becomes 5. What will be 16y? If x is equal to 1 and common ratio is 1.5, y will become 1.5 and this will become 1.5 square or 2.25. Okay. What will be 16y? 16 into 1.5, which is equal to 24. And 12z is 12 into 2.25. What is 2.25? 12 into 2.25 will be 24 plus 3, 27. So 5x is 5, 16y is 24, 12z is 27. This is not an AP. If this is not an AP, that means R equal to 3 by 2 is a wrong choice. This should be the correct answer. So the jugaad helped me save time in this question. But there's a question, if you look at the choices carefully, apply the simple jugaad of taking x equal to 1 and telling yourself that the common ratio has to be greater than 1 because x is less than y and y is less than z. So you should be straight away able to eliminate two choices, check one of the remaining choice and get the answer. Supposing we would have taken r equal to 2.5. Let me check. Let me just for the sake of it do the other one also. If r is equal to 2.5, which is this choice. So if I take x equal to 1, y will become 2.5, z will become 2.5 square, which is 6.25. Now what is 5x? 5. 16y and 12z? 16 into 2.5. 16 into 2, 32. 32 plus 8, 40. Okay. And then 12z is nothing but 12 into 6.25. 12 6 is 72 plus 12 into 0.3, 75. Common difference 35. 35. This is a AP. Correct answer, choice 1. And a circle with center O and radius 1 centimeters. Arc AB makes a 60-degree angle at O. Let R be the region bound by radii OA, OB and arc AB. Center O, arc AB makes a 60-degree angle. This 60-degree angle. If C and D are 2 points on OA and OB, C and D, such that OC is equal to OD. So these two are equal. So obviously this means this will be an equilateral triangle. Why equilateral triangle? Because this angle is 60 degree and these two are equal. That means these two angles will also be equal. So the moment you see a 60-degree angle in a circle, you can be reasonably assured yes, equilateral triangle ban jayega. And the area of triangle of OCD is half of R. Angle area of triangle OCD is equal to half of area of this particular arc. What is the area of this particular arc? It is 1/6 of area of circle. Now what is this telling you? You know the basics of geometry or not? If you do not know basics of geometry, then you should leave the question. If you know the basics of geometry, then you can look at attempting the question. Okay. So this is a round one question if you know the basics of geometry. Otherwise, if you have decided to give up on geometry completely, then maybe this is not the question you should be spending your time on. Question 31. Points E, F, G, H lies on AB, BC, CD and D respectively of the square ABCD. If EFGH is also a square whose area is 62.5 centimeters of that 62.5% of ABCD, and CG is longer than EB, then the ratio of length of EB to CG is what? Again, I'll have to draw the figure. But what I can find out is 62.5% is nothing but 5 by 8. Okay. It is telling me EFGH, area of EFGH is equal to 5 by 8 of the area of ABCD. This is what it's saying. Okay. And what do we need to find? We need to find the ratio of EB to CG. Okay. So let's draw the figure first again. Points EFGH lie on a square ABCD. So let's draw the figure square first. So we have A, B, C, D. Okay. EFGH is also a square, okay, whose area is 62.5% of that of ABCD. So EFGH lies on somewhere on AB, F lies on BC, G lies somewhere here, H lies somewhere on AD. CG is longer than EB. So let's say G is here and CG is longer than EB. E is here. Now, if this has to be a square, that means EB should be equal to this much. Similarly, F should be here and this should be here. Now, if you can draw the figure, then it is worth attending the question. If you are unable to even draw the figure, then maybe you should leave the question completely. So, what does it become? So, EFGH is square. What is the length of EB to CG? Check choices. There's a round one question if you can draw the figure, and if you can draw the figure, then the jugaad to use is to check choices other than solve. Let's check choices 1 and 3. EB to CG. This is E. 1 to CG agar 3 hota hai, that means this is 3. So what does this mean? Choice 1 EB to CG is 1:3. So I can say the length of the square is 3 plus 1, 4. And the area of the square will be equal to 4 square, which is 16. Right? Okay. So what will be the side of EFGH equal to? If this is 1, this is 1, this should be 3, because this side will be equal to this side. So what is this side equal to? This is 3 square plus 1 square under root 10. So what is area of ABCD? We found it to be 4 square is 16. So area of EFGH under root 10 square, which is 10. So what is the ratio of area of EFGH to ABCD? 10 by 16, which is equal to 5 by 8, which is equal to 62.5%. That's the answer. So this is a question. The critical thing is, have you been able to draw the figure? Are you able to understand that this side A, E and CG will be the same? That the longer side in each of the four on the four sides is the same. Are you able to understand that DG is equal to EB? If yes, do the question. If you are not sure how to proceed, leave it and move on to the next one. Question 32. Raju and Lalita originally had marbles in the ratio of 4:9. Then Lalita gave some of her marbles to Raju. As a result, the ratio of number of marbles with Raju to Lalita became 5:6. What fraction of our original marbles were given by Lalita to Raju? Round one question, standard question of ratios. Let the number of marbles with Raju be equal to 4x and Lalita be equal to 9x. Lalita gave some of her marbles to Raju. So Lalita gave how many? Let's say k marbles to Raju. So how many marbles will Raju have? It will have 4x minus k. And Lalita will have 9x. Sorry, 4x plus k, 9x plus minus k. What is this equal to? 5 by 6. Okay. It becomes equal to 5 by 6. You can solve the question after this. So what fraction of our original marbles were given? So what is k going to be equal to? If you cross multiply 24x plus 6k equal to 45x minus 5k. So 6k minus 5k on the left hand side will become k is equal to 45 minus 24, 21x. K equal to 21x. Have I made some mistake? Ratio of number of marbles with Raju, that of Lalita became 5/9. Oops. I'm sorry, 11k ना? मैं वही लग रहा था कहीं तो गलती की. So k is equal to 21/11x. So what fraction of our original marbles has Lalita given to Raju? Answer should be k upon 9x. What is that equal to? K is 21 by x by 11 upon 9x. What is this equal to? 21 upon 99. 3 sevens are 21. 3 33s are. So answer should be 7/33. Round 1 question, simple question, just follow the process. Every CAT paper, about 1/3 of the question are such, you can straight away follow the process and you will get the answer. And this is one such question. Humans and robots can perform job at different efficiencies. 15 humans plus 5 robots, 15 humans plus 5 robots take 30 days to finish a job. Whereas 5 humans plus 15 robots will do the job in take 60 days to finish. In how many days will 15 humans do the job? Round 1. Okay. Round 1. After all, what are we getting between these two? 15 humans, each human does H units of work per day. Each robot does R units of work per day. So what is the amount of work? 15 into 30 into 15 H plus 5R should be equal to 60 into 5H plus 15R. Simple way of doing the question. 15H plus 5R equal to 10H plus 30R. So this cancels, this becomes 5H and this becomes 25R. So H upon R is equal to 25 by 5 or 5 by 1. So if a man does 5 units of work, robot will do 1 unit of work. So you can find the amount of work and you can solve the question. Okay. So the amount of work will be 15H plus 5R into 30. So the amount of work is 30 into 15. H is nothing but 5 plus 5R. R is nothing but 1. This is the total amount of work. And how many people are working? 15H. 15 into. In how many days will humans working? 15 humans working. 15 into 5. So 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30. So 75 plus 5, 80, 80 into 2, 160. So 160 by 5, which should be 32. Okay. Again, I'm trying to highlight the fact that every paper has standard process oriented question. There's one of those questions. And if you do only the standard process oriented question, you are assured of at least a 90 percentile, if not a 95 percentile. Last question. Yeah. Round 1, round 2, completely your choice or leave. There's a question where possibly you should be, many of you will be leaving this question. And rightly so. Because if you don't know the starting point, it is no fun doing the question at all. Okay. Okay. Now, one of the way to do this question would be to divide the first equation the second. After all, what is this? This is x to power 21018, y to power 2017. Is equal to numerator is 1 by 2. And then you can play around with it. After all, this will get cancelled out, this will become this much. This will get cancelled out, this will be y square. So x square upon y square is equal to 1 by 16. Or x upon y becomes equal to 1 by 4. Okay. Now you can look at different ways of doing it. One way could be x equal to 1 by 2, y equal to 2. Another case could be x equal to 1, y equal to 4. But if y is equal to 4, this will become more than 64, so this case is eliminated. So you'll need to play around a little bit different cases to get the answer. Okay? But there's a question which may not be worth attempting. Now, which are the standard process-oriented questions we should definitely be attempting? To me, what is important is you should not miss out on the standard process-oriented question. Okay? This is a standard process-oriented question, question 1. Okay? So, one question is standard process-oriented. Okay? Second question, again a standard process-oriented question. 2 questions. Here, I'll probably leave it because some of you may not be able to. But question 1 and 2 are standard process-oriented question. You should definitely be able to get the answer. This is again the question 4 is third process-oriented. So if I look at, and let me just note it down on my rough sheet. So question 1, question 2, question 4, all 3 are process-oriented standard questions. Question 5 is something which requires a little bit of thinking, so I'm not looking at this as a standard process-oriented question. Okay. Similarly, question number 6, some of you may or may not be able to pick it completely, so I'm not again counting it as a standard question. Question 7 again is a standard process-oriented question. Question 8 again is a process-oriented question, but I'm not counting it so because many students are uncomfortable with these kind of questions, so I'm saying let me not worry too much about it. Question 9 is a standard process-oriented question. The reason I'm saying this, there's elementary logs. If you have done a session of logs in the first 30 minutes, you should be able to handle it. It is not the question which requires extensive knowledge of the basic knowledge of logs will give you the answer. Okay. Similarly, question number 10, straightforward question of percentages, standard process to be adopted. Question 11, in your preparation for times when work, you would again have done the such questions, and these are this question and one of that question 31, 33, I think. Both of them are similar. Question 11 and that human and robo question are the same. These are standard process-oriented questions. Okay, this question, some people will get confused, so I'm not counting it as a standard process-oriented question. Neither am I look at 13 or 14. Because the reason why 14 I think is a standard question, I'm still not counting it because I know many people get confused with the common ratios, etc., or geometric progression. But this, to my mind, by and large, is a standard process-oriented question, though I am not looking at it. Okay. Question 15, if you have done the basics of installment, you should be able to solve it again. Process. Question 16, in any case, should be left. 17, again, you can, okay, some people will probably get confused or whatever, and I can leave it also. Question 18, leave. Question 19, standard process-oriented question of logs, Venn diagrams, round 1. Okay, 20th, I'm not counting because I know many people get confused as to how to go about it. 21, leave. 22 is a standard process-oriented question. Okay. 23, leave. 24, if you have done basics of Pythagoras theorem, again, just follow the process, draw the figure, you will straight away be able to see that this has to be a right angle triangle. If it has to be a right angle triangle, you can apply Pythagoras triplets, check the choices. 25, leave. 26, again, is an issue for many students. Question 27, again, is a standard process-oriented question. Follow the process, write down the equation, you'll get the answer. Okay. 28th, follow the process of the conditions. 29, 29. Okay, there is a question. I'm not counting it as a process oriented question because this would be a little confusing for many. Similarly, 30 also. 31 again I'm leaving, but 32. 32 is a standard question, process oriented. Just follow the instructions, and same with question 33 also. Now, if you look at this paper, particular paper, which are the standard process oriented questions? Let me write down. The standard process oriented question in this paper are question number 1, 2, 4, 7, 9, 10, 11, 15. 9, 10, 11, 15, 19, 22, 24, 27, 28, 32, 33. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 questions were standard process oriented questions. Out of 34, almost half the paper was standard process oriented question, and this is what is important. You should not miss out on standard questions where you can apply the standard formula or just follow the process and get the answer. Because if you can do these standard questions, even if out of 15 you have done, let's say 10 to 11 questions, you would be more than 90 percentile. Okay, so it is important that you be able to pick out and do these questions correctly in the paper. Okay, great. Okay, so that's it from my side. And just a reminder, check out OpenCat if you have not done so already. Please go there. You have lots of free material available for you to help you prepare, including previous year papers, jugaad solutions, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, and yes, this is the next session. And so stay in touch with Last Lab to CAT 24 to give that finishing touch to your preparation. So with this, I will close the session unless there are some questions. Let me see if there are any questions from your side. Okay. I think the questions were there. I have already covered most of them. So I'll close the session now, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. So good night and all the best.